tech news? I dabble. I just put my fingers in it. Just like put my little things in it. I just bathe my entire body in it every day. Just whatever. Can you believe Linus just pays? Apple's Vision Pro reviews are out right now from those Apple deemed worthy. The consensus on the device seems to be that while the future may not be here, it's definitely somewhere nearby. They can smell it. The Vision Pro's displays are reportedly crisp as a Granny Smith, and its pass-through mode has minimal latency, which will hopefully minimize injury when you decide to live in this thing full-time to get your money's worth. $3,500. At 1.3 pounds, or roughly the weight of a pre-hibernation hedgehog, it's a relatively heavy headset. Have you ever held a hedgehog?
Have you ever strapped one to your face?
Not more than once. It's a heavy headset, and that's not including the wearable battery. The hand-eye control interface is really impressive, but perhaps unsurprisingly, its floating intangible keyboard is next to useless. Despite how it looked in early demos, EyeSight, the Vision Pro's digital representation of the user's eyes on the external display, is deep in the uncanny valley, and attempting to hold a conversation or host a dinner party with the headset on will earn nothing but your spouse's contempt. Reviewers are also pointing out that the Vision Pro still lacks any real killer apps at a time when Apple is not exactly making friends with third-party developers through their iOS and app rule changes in the EU. Though as much as Apple's walled garden approach might alienate potential devs, that's gotta be part of the appeal for some consumers. A polished AR headset that will easily slot into your existing network of accounts and devices, just like marrying your high school sweetheart. We are meant to be together, Barbara. Forever, Barbara. Barbara? Diablo streamer Elon Musk announced on Twitter this week that Neuralink has placed its first brain-computer interface in a human subject. It's happened. According to Musk, initial results show promising neuron spike detection, and the patient is recovering well. And that's great to hear, especially considering who the patients are in these early human trials. Individuals who are quadriplegic due to spinal cord injuries or ALS. It would usually be nearly impossible for a company to convince regulators to allow them to perform experimental, non-essential brain surgery on an otherwise healthy patient. However, Neuralink's first planned implant, apparently called telepathy, is intended to allow recipients to communicate directly with a computer, which can then decode that message and interpret how the user intends to move, which has obvious potential to improve the lives of people with significant physical limitations. Similar implants from other firms have already been used to bypass damaged neurons and allow paralyzed patients to regain some control over their existing limbs. On the more sci-fi end of things, Musk likewise said that the implant might also one day allow users to control almost any device just by thinking. Sounds cool, but I personally dread the day when I can accidentally butt dial my mom by way of a particularly vivid nightmare. Or even worse, a sexy nightmare. General Motors is jumping on the plug-in hybrid train, the exact same train they jumped off of back in 2019 when they killed the highly efficient PHEV Chevy Volt. Turns out the Volt wasn't a bad idea, just an idea before its time, because nobody knew what a PHEV was back in 2018 when we were all listening to Drake and dinosaurs roamed the earth. However, it turns out there are a significant number of North American drivers who really would like to spend less on gas, but can't justify the jump to pure battery electric due to its limited range. This has left dealerships with a surplus of EVs and carbon reduction quotas they can't hope to meet right now. Those dealers, in turn, have put pressure on GM to bring back plug-in hybrids. GM has likewise backtracked on its decision early last year to kill the Chevy Bolt, with a B, the light and efficient battery electric car that made up over 80% of GM's EV sales in 2023. This is a trend that extends far beyond GM. BMW is expanding both its EV and PHEV lineups, and Mazda will also be debuting its first plug-in hybrid this year with the CX-90. Lamborghini isn't planning on a fully electric vehicle until 2028, but they launched their first plug-in hybrid in 2023, which they'll be following with a PHEV version of their Urus SUV this year. Urus. And you know gas prices are bad when the Lamborghini owners jump ship.
I'm under the impression you buy a Lamborghini specifically to burn gas.
Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Hostinger, the company that wants to help you build out a professional-looking website from your phone, a concept that will probably only seem strange to you if you're over 25. Choose from 150 fully customizable templates, then tailor them to suit your needs with AI-powered writing and SEO tools. Their drag-and-drop editor gives you more control with less frustration, while their built-in analytics tools help you track site traffic and identify trends directly from your phone. Except instead of making a trendy TikTok, you're building a sick website, which is much more respectable to people over 25. So get a bit more creative while growing your business at hostinger.com/techlinked and save 10% today with code TechLinked. We film these after lunch, so I just get a quick bite. A quick bite, you get it. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee held a major hearing on the issue of child safety and exploitation online, where they questioned the CEOs of Discord, Snap, Meta, TikTok, and the website formerly known as Twitter. You know, the bad boys of tech. Leading up to the hearing, companies tried to get ahead of any accusations. Snap came out in support of the Kids Online Safety Act and swore not to enact end-to-end encryption in order to continue scanning messages for child abuse imagery, which is how that kid got caught for the plain joke. Meta reiterated its support for app-level age verification. TikTok pledged to spend $2 billion in 2024 on protecting US users, and Twitter promised to hire back around 6% of those 1,500 content moderators they fired. He really cares about this issue.
Raising the bar after lowering it into the ground.
A listing for NVIDIA's rumored 6GB edition of the RTX 3050 recently surfaced on a site for Australian retailer eTech that can only be described as disappointing if true. The listing, which has since been removed, shows a concerning drop in CUDA cores of 20% compared to the base model, which already had an advantage of 2 additional gigabytes of RAM. Earlier rumors indicated that the new card would either maintain core count or see a drop of just 10%. But maybe NVIDIA is just trying to let us down gently, so by the actual launch, we won't be disappointed to find it's just a single fan duct taped to a box of Lunchables.
At least it's pizza.
It's not the worst rumor out there today, though. That goes to Intel, who are reportedly planning a refresh of their Raptor Lake refresh. Raptor Lake, the refreshing. Even refresher. New York's Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against Citibank, claiming it has failed to protect customers from hacks and scams and refused to reimburse millions of dollars in lost funds. By law, US banks must reimburse customers any funds stolen via unauthorized electronic transactions, but Citibank claims they are exempt because there was no indication their clients were being deceived. However, one woman informed the bank after simply clicking on a suspicious link in a text. Citibank told her not to worry about it, and 3 days later, scammers transferred $40,000 out of her account. If only she had indicated she had been deceived rather than overtly stating it. You're supposed to kind of go around it, you know?
It's like flirting.
I've been deceived. I don't believe you. PayPal, also known as Elon Musk's first stepchild, announced it's cutting 2,500 jobs, affecting both existing workers and job listings. He's not even involved with that anymore, but we have to make a joke.
We were too nice to him during the Neuralink story.
Fellow fintech company Block, who owns Square, Cash App, and Afterpay, announced it's laying off around 1,000 people because cutting jobs is the newest strat in the tech corp meta. As an extremely thin silver lining, you can know that these layoffs aren't coming cheap. Google expects to spend $700 million on severance this quarter. But it only cost me $10 to watch the whole first season on Apple TV+. Why is Google so bad with money? It's a classic Jacob pun. Best show I've seen in a while though, by the way. I endorse it. And car rental company Europcar said a massive leak of 50 million customer records posted on a hacker forum were actually generated by ChatGPT, showing that at least AI doles out misinformation to upstanding citizens and criminals alike. However, Europcar may be in the misinfo business too. Troy Hunt, the security researcher behind HaveIBeenPwned.com, responded to this story with a strong claim that this kind of data fabrication doesn't need generative AI at all. It's just on everyone's brains all the time right now, thanks to stories like this one about yet another lawyer getting caught citing a non-existent court case thanks to ChatGPT. Or this one about an alarm clock on Kickstarter that displays AI-generated poems to tell you the time in the least efficient way possible, especially because it gets both the time and basic English words wrong, so you have to check an actual clock anyway. It's gonna change everything. Meanwhile, all you have to do is check back here on Friday for more tech news. We're the most efficient way to get your tech news, as long as you like it sandwiched between whatever you want to call the type of thing that I'm doing right now. You know, you don't have to watch. So, like,